Greetings, YouTube. So at the time of this recording, Alabama is in the process of trying to get a bill passed into law which is decidedly aimed at harming trans youth. It's got some bullshit title about how it's supposed to protect children, but it's basically a law that would, or a bill that would prevent doctors from providing trans children with hormone blockers and hormone treatments. Now realize there is no surgery being involved on teenagers. That's something that is done in adulthood. But you can give hormone blockers so that they just don't start going through that particular puberty trip that they don't want. And they can start taking hormones if they to help them be who they are genuinely in their heart. Now realize that you will hear people talking about switching genders like it's something that you flick a switch on and that they just woke up one day and said, hey, I've decided I want to be X or Y, when in actuality, these kids have been in therapy for a very long time before they ever get to the we recommend this kid get hormone blockers and go on a hormone regimen. So this is not something that's done lightly. It doesn't matter. The social conservatives don't see it that way, and they really hate trans people. In addition, it's going to require teachers to out their students that they suspect are trans to their parents. Now, there's enough socially conservative teachers out there who are just chafing at the bit that would allow them to then tell parents, your kid's trans! So the kid will hopefully be beaten or killed. Because they would desperately like to beat or kill that kid, but he just can't get away with it. But if they tell the parent and the parent beats or kills the kid, well, their hands are clean. And it would even require teachers who aren't socially conservative to do that. Of course, if I were a progressive teacher, and which I would be if I were a teacher, I would just conveniently say, I didn't know. And what are they going to do? They can't prove a negative now, can they? I wouldn't turn any kid in, because who knows what their parents are like. Maybe their parents are really cool. Maybe their parents support the journey that they are on. They understand that their kid was assigned a gender at birth that's wrong. There aren't just two genders. There aren't even two biological sexes. Go talk to experts. They will tell you about the complexity dealing with gender and biological sex. It is far more complex than social conservatives would have you believe. But the shit icing on this absolute vile fucking piece of legislation is that the author of the legislation, the guy behind this vile anti-trans bill, has never spoken to a trans kid. Never spoken to him. So, maybe you should do that. Maybe you should go talk to a kid who's being allowed to be their authentic self and compare them to any other kid who is being allowed to be their authentic selves, and discover that a happy kid's a happy kid, and families and friends that support their child should be encouraged and supported, not demonized, not driving them from your state, because that's what they're going to do. These kids are going to have to, and their families are going to have to leave the state they're in to get away from this. But there are bills like this, I think, in 14 states right now, all aimed at trans people. Why? Well, you see, the social conservatives lost the fight against gay people. Marital equality was achieved. People have now been exposed to gay people more and more in media and their private lives and at work and things like that, and discovered they're just fucking people. But they can still demonize trans people because they're an even smaller minority than gay people are. So they're far easier to demonize. And they desperately need someone to demonize. Because if social conservatives don't have a demon, they might have to do the terrifying thing of start looking at themselves. And they really don't want to look at themselves. Not even a little bit. They want to look at themselves. So they would rather hate someone else and do everything in their power to ruin their lives and drive them into suicidal depression, which is what's going to happen, or expose them to friends and family members who could beat or murder them. That would make them really happy. And all of these people in America are going to call themselves Christians. But I got to tell you, I'm not seeing a whole lot of neighbor-loving neighbor here.